It is the popular saying that an healthy society is a wealthy one. On the Great Mind program, medical experts are available to provide solutions to various health challenges. You desire greatness in life. Successful men and women in the society are available on the Great Mind program to reveal to you the secrets to their greatness. The Great Mind of Nenti Oshogbo is a watch for all. Meet me on the program every Sunday between 3:30 and 4 p.m. Happy Sunday. It is another wonderful moment with me on your darling program, The Great Mind. I am Bola Olayode. The personality we are celebrating on the program this week is one-time Nigerian Ambassador to Saudi Arabia, late Alhaji Harun kolawole Bidmus. On the S segment are G centers on the quality inspection training organized by Osun Insurance Agency for members of staffs and other stakeholders, where the quality management systems and its principles were taught the participants. The principles are plan, do, check, and act. The principles which can be of great benefits to you and I if you can be applying them in our daily dealings. Come along with me. And the quality inspection training organized by Osun Insurance Agency for its members of staff and other stakeholders to facilitate them to perform optimally in accordance to the vision of the agency in being a world-class provider of access to sustainable, qualitative health care readily available and affordable to every resident in the state. The participants at the training were taught quality management systems and its principles, which include plan, do, check, and act. The participants were taught to plan very well whatever they want to do and put resources in place to ensure the actions are as planned, and finally act. While acting, the participants were taught how to analyze the results gotten from whatever action taken, make improvement, and also find solutions to problems.
How good are they? Who exactly are they? What exactly are they doing? What evidence is there? For you to evaluate manpower is a lot of things. I will explain that each one. The next one is materials. What materials are we using in the healthcare industry? Drugs, consumables, other things. Are they available? Is it adequate? So many questions. If you are a quality inspector visiting facilities, then what else will you ask? Isn't this the critical ones? The next one is the machines, equipment and tools. The world is at a stage where other countries use defibrillators. When you have someone with shock or different cases, our mostly use CPR. In the other part of the world, you bring a defibrillator that is almost everywhere. Attach it and put the person and you stay away. Boom! It sends the energy back to the patient and the patient worker. In some organizations, you don't have it to any trouble because anything can happen. I'm not talking about asking them the ventilators there. I'm just using that as an example. That are those critical emergency equipment in place? For example, you get to an hospital which is an Accredited facility without an oxygen tank, without an oxygen concentrator, and they examine emergency, the patient needs oxygen. Maybe they have got to borrow one to show us during the accreditation. And after the accreditation, they return it back to where they borrowed it. By the time we come for inspection, we couldn't find it. And I also saw in ecology law. That is our own. So many things are there. These are equipment, critical equipment. Then records. the procedure, the SOPs. At this stage of ours, an organization working with OIS, accredited by OIS, still will not have a procedure for malaria treatment. That's why OIS has created the standard guidelines, and they don't even know it. Isn't that one of the criminal case? If we tell somebody, develop your procedure for treatment, they don't do it. We develop it for them, and Dr. Zalani can give it to them. Use this. Now you come and ask them, how are you supposed to do it? I don't know. If you have it, yes, they have it. How do you apply it? Whatever I remember, we use CQ and Accredited. Following the procedure, the process, the methodology is very critical. So it's not a joking issue this time around. When you find a place without a process, without a procedure, without a clue about how to do things, there is a major problem. Because today they do it right, tomorrow they will do it wrong. They will kill the issue.
The participants at the quality inspection training have this to say at the end of the training.
I want to start by appreciating the agency for this opportunity to involve every third-party administrator in this quality inspection training. Let me start by saying that this training has been a major mind shift for every participant, owing to the fact that our knowledge around quality management systems, specifically quality inspection, has been increased in the sense that this will go ahead to strengthen the health system in the state, not just the facilities that are accredited by OIS, but every healthcare facility in the state. So for us as individuals, we have had a clearer knowledge, verified knowledge about quality assurance. We have also understood the best way or the best approach to quality inspection. So I will say in the whole that both the agency and facilitators, they've been wonderful, and it has been an exciting time getting a clear knowledge of quality inspection and quality management system.
There's a lot about this quality system because in our HMO, we do all for quality inspection, also we do quality control, but we do it in our own capability and ability. But with this seminar, with this training, we've learned a lot how to approach, how to go about it. We really learn about this. We learn the positive aspects, we have the negative aspects, how to behave as a quality inspector. What are the criteria? What are the criteria we use in inspecting the facility? So it can really be educative and really add value to me myself as a quality inspector. So again, we commend the Insurance for organizing a program like this, because if other states and other private organizations are organizing or arranging a program like this, it's going to help our health system in the country and in the state.
Continuous training of staff to build their capacity, delivering service to the people of the state. OSHA are known as an institution very different from other areas because we adopt the model of private sector efficiency prevention to drive our activities, and this is part of the capacity building efforts of the agency, ensuring that staffs and partners and TPAs, HMOs are groomed to provide quality service to the people. What we are doing here is we began yesterday and today is to acclimatize us with the way to conduct service inspections, quality inspections of our facilities in terms of the way they are delivering care to the people. We are looking at what they have on the ground because there was a baseline of operation when we engaged them during their accreditation. We want to see over the 2 years that they've been receiving capitation, fee for service and other things, what have they been able to improve in the system. Before you had a staff, now have you been able to get more? Before you didn't have an alternative power supply, have you been able to get more? these are the things we are doing there to check. And when we see anomalies, we have been told that we are giving them supportive supervision. We are not going there to nail them, to say, we are going there to help them to improve the service delivery.
The consultant to Osun Health Insurance Agency, Dr. Bashir Mohammed, speaks on the relevance of the quality inspection training to the members of staff of Osun Health Insurance Agency.
Well, the relevance of quality inspection training to Osun Health Insurance Scheme at this very crucial time is to create awareness and provide professional basis and leverage to our staffs and HMO appointees who will be working with the Quality Assurance Department of OHIS in implementing the quality management system culture. Now, you will observe that since the launch of the OHIS programs, all the HCPs, which are the healthcare providers, have been receiving their payments on monthly basis based on an accredited criteria that we have evaluated them to start working for us. This is now over a year, and there has been no time that we have got to them to re-evaluate them. Are you still doing those good things that you are certified upon? Now, training our people is to give them more capacity in order to implement the set procedures. So this training is to give them awareness and competence to implement the criteria that are needed for this inspection.
Director of Programs, Osun Health Insurance Agency, Farm Sumono Lasukome, has this to say about the quality inspection training.
The purpose of the agency is to look for continuous way of improving our service to our enrollees. And where is the focus? If at the agency level we are diligent in serving them, but the service they are paying for, they are buying from us, we are buying it from the healthcare providers. We will continue to look for way of improving quality at that end in the way they take care of the enrollees of the scheme. And until we are so satisfied, that will take a very long. An improvement will bring an improvement in all areas of service, both in the equipment, main materials, the method, the process. What we are interrogating here more today is the process. The process of putting quality into the system, and a quality that will stay permanently, a quality that will not go away, that will not fade away. Equipment do get obsolete, but when you institute when you put in a system, a quality system of delivering a service, it stays there. That is what they say in the political system. They are building institutions. We want to start building institutions in our healthcare providers, so that be it any time they are going to give quality service to the enrollees of the scheme.
The Executive Secretary, Board of Directors, Osun Health Insurance Agency, Dr. Adeniyi Ogini, explains the reason for organizing the quality inspection training for the members of staff of the agency and other stakeholders.
We have operated for 2 years, beginning from the August 2019 to August 2021. It's already 2 years. 2 years of operation, we had all kinds of complaints. Complaints from enrollees, complaints from healthcare providers themselves, complaints from HMOs, and we have attested all of these complaints. We were starting some of them from our call center, and they all informed this meeting, which is directed at identifying the core areas, of our quality and communicating the process of ensuring that there is assurance of quality in the services that's been rendered by members of, to members of the public by our healthcare providers. So you see, over the years they've been asking us, how are you going to ensure that the facilities comply with the standards that you are setting? How are you going to ensure that they don't, cut corners? How are you going to ensure that they don't treat your patients wrongly? So, we are within the system. The system itself is bad, and we all know it. And what we can do is to ensure that we communicate our own rules to the people that are stakeholders, and to ensure that we carry out periodic checks to ensure that what they signed with the service level agreement is what they are doing. Of course, when they fail to do that, we give the warning. And when the warning is not enough and then they are offended the second and third time, we apply sanctions. Those are the things. But you don't start doing that until you have communicated this to the people, and then you have gone using your accepted or your developed processes to assess what is actually happening on the field. So this whole training is meant to build the capacity of both the OE staff and the staff of the HF, the Accredited Assurance Officers, on the processes of quality control under Osun Health Insurance Agency. These, of course, we have communicated to the healthcare providers, and when we will go on the quality inspection visits, they already know the things we are coming to check from them. They also will have periodic engagement with us in the area of quality assurance and quality management systems, because we know that there is no system anywhere in the world that is perfect, but we are working towards near perfection. And as we take our journey step by step, it is our hope that sooner than later we are going to have established an agency, health insurance agency, that is one of the best that can be, not only in this country. Our vision is to be a world-class provider of access to healthcare, and that is what we're working towards. And that's why so many of our processes are ISO compliant. We're working towards international certification. Yes, there are lots of challenges, but we are ready to attack those, to confront those challenges one by one, and we're very sure that we're going to overcome all of them.
You are welcome to the segment where we celebrate the achievers in the society. As I said earlier, that the personality we are celebrating on the program this week is late Alhaji Harun kolawole Bidmus, one-time Nigerian Ambassador to Saudi Arabia, who wholeheartedly served God and humanity in his lifetime. Alhaji Harun kolawole Bidmus was born about 77 years ago at Asikan compound in Osun, the local government area in Osun State, to Alhaji Badamosi Arowojobe and Alhaja Oyetunde Bidmus. He started Quranic education at the age of 3, but only able to start his elementary education at the age of 16. He gave the reason for this.
My father was a chief imam. He was a farmer and he was a chief imam. And we were growing up in Ogun State, near Ota. That is where our village is, and that's where our father was living at that time. But later on, I was brought home to come and live with my grandmother, and I was put at one Quranic school in Osun. That was the only Quranic school that was in the town. I was brought home because of that. I was living with my mother and going to the school. But after some time, I was removed and I was taken to one malam called Alhaji Salam Onekokewu. Some other people also call him Olonyo. He's from Enofa. That was in early 50s. And I was with him until I was in for years. But it happened that as a young boy, I ran away from the place. I was already a grown-up man though, because I wasn't a young boy, not a very young boy.
At what age did you start primary school, sir? I think your elementary education.
So that was how I ran away. I started my Quranic education at the age of 3. I started Quranic education when I was only 3 years old. Because that was the only my father wanted me to be a malam, a real malam. And I thank Allah that his dream was realized. That today, at least, wherever I go in the world today, I'm an Islamist, I'm an Arabist, a recognized one. So that was his dream, and God fulfilled his dream for him. So I thank Allah for him. So after that, I was taken to Alhaji Mustafa Adisafe, the present chief imam of Osun. At that time, he himself he was trained in Ilorin by Alhaji Kamal Din Aladabi, and he was just back in Osogbo, and I was taken to him, and I happened to be his first student. So my father took me to him, and I started living with him, and that was where I now knew that Kewu is different from Kewu. There is Arabic, and that is the place where I now know that Kewu is actually a language. It's actually an Arabic. It can be spoken, it can be written, you can do anything with it. And it's not just for the religious observation. And after about 1.5 years, it was through him again I got interested in going to school, and he encouraged me. And I was taken to Ansardin Primary School, Mami, Osogbo. And the day I got there, they first sent me to Primary 2. But when I got to Primary 2, I looked around, all the students there, I just couldn't compare myself with them. Then I asked the mistress, and I looked at the lady. She was a very young woman. A young lady, I would say. Then I said, is this Primary 3? She said, no, Primary 2. I said, I'm sent to Primary 3. So I left and I went to Primary 3. I told the teacher there that I was posted to Primary 3. I was asked by Mr. Popola, late Mr. Popola was then the headmaster of Accredited, to go and start from Primary 2. But I went to Primary 3.
How old were you there, sir?
I was between 16 and 17.
So that was when you started your...
That was when I first went to Ansardin Primary School, Mami, Osogbo. I was about 16 years, about 16. So I got to Primary 3. The teacher there said, I told him the man that I was posted to Primary 3. He asked me to sit down. He gave me some questions to answer. I managed to answer 1 out of 4. And he said, okay, carry on. And that was how I started. As God would like, by His grace, before the end of the first term, I was making it. And by the end of the first term, I came 4th in the exam. And during the second term, I came 1st. And the third term exam, that very year too, I came 1st. And we were moved to Primary 4. I read Primary 3, I read Primary 4. We finished Primary 4. We moved to Primary 5. At the end of the first term in Primary 5, the headmaster just walked to the class one day and said, Kola, Wale, come. And he took me to Primary 6. So I spent 3 years in primary school. So when I finished primary school, of course, there was no hope. But fortunately, I sat down for exam and I managed to get a scholarship to Osogbo Grammar School as a son of Osogbo Local Government District Council on scholarship. So my father didn't know how I managed to get there. He just knew I was there and he kept quiet since I wasn't going to ask him to give me 1 kobo. It was my grandmother who gave me 5 shillings to buy the form then.
Alhaji Harun Bidmus was a man of destiny.
He got employment with the University of Ibadan in January 1969 as a research fellow in Center for Arabic Documentation for Africa at the Department of Arabic and Islamic Studies. Because of his love for his people, when he was retired as a Nigerian ambassador to Saudi Arabia, he preferred to come back to his hometown in Osun. In 1994, Alhaji Harun Bidmus became the Commissioner for Commerce and Industry under military administration, from where he was moved to man the Ministry of Agriculture, also as a commissioner. He held the position till 1997.
Alhaji Harun Bidmus was a man with strong passion for God while he was alive. It is scripturally stated that the righteous shall be in everlasting remembrance. We are celebrating Alhaji Harun Bidmus. He is no more today, but we are celebrating him because of the impact he succeeded in making on the lives of the people that crossed his path while he was alive. On that note, we are ending this week edition of the program, The Great Mind. Next Sunday is another date. God willing, till then, stay blessed.